Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me here on Wave Now. I'm Myra Ansari. Here once in a while, we talk with the Better Business Bureau, the BBB, about scams that are circulating around because we never want you to become a victim. And as we preach all the time, anyone can become a victim. And I truly feel bad for this person in our area. There's two people who recently fell victim to an auction scam. One person, believe it or not, my heart breaks to even say it, lost more than $40,000 in an online auction. So, Rihanna Smith Hamblin from the Better Business Bureau is here with us today to talk about online auctions and why and when we need to be careful. Rihanna, talk about these two cases that you recently got reported to you.
Oh, it's horrible. I feel so bad, especially for that person that lost $40,000 buying a boat, just buying a boat. And these auction sites, I mean, they look very, very legitimate. And unfortunately, people are falling for it. We're seeing more and more scams come into our BBB scam tracker about these online auction scams. Often it'll be big ticket items like cars, boats. One guy fell for farming equipment as well. So just really big ticket items. The site looks legitimate. Sometimes it looks like it's affiliated with a government or with the government. Victims are registering to bid on items, and they may have to send over their driver's licenses or their personal information as well, which leads to identity theft. It leads to them losing their money when they win the item. So it's a sad, sad situation.
Absolutely. And sometimes, Rihanna, I haven't been on an online auction, so I don't really know what it looks like. And for our viewers who don't, kind of walk us through some of these things. Is it like they show pictures of this boat or this car or the farming equipment that may be up for grabs for folks to bid on, right?
Yes, that's correct. They'll show the pictures, they'll get you all excited about the item that you're purchasing. Sometimes they'll even do bidding wars. So they'll pretend like someone's bidding against you to get you excited and to get you to continue to raise your price even more so they can get more money out of you. But they very much look legitimate with all of the different items on there.
And sometimes they're even, they say they're part of the government, right?
Yes, sometimes they'll say part of the government. You know, um, th- I know that even with police, they have online auctions with things that they've taken in different cases. So they'll actually have legitimate auctions. And basically, what we would suggest to people is if it is part of a government auction, then just make sure it's legitimate by calling that particular part of the government, calling the entity itself to make sure it is legitimate.
All right, $40,000 that you thought you were going to be cruising maybe along the Ohio River in a nice fancy boat. I'm assuming you thought you got a good deal or whatever it may be. This poor person that lost $40,000, who, let me tell you, was in our area because they reported the case to our local BBB. What happened to that guy?
He's out of luck, unfortunately. If you wire your money to someone that you don't know, or you cash app someone you don't know, that money is gone. It's absolutely gone. There's no way to get it back. So anyone who wants to buy a big ticket item, even small ticket items, be very, very careful of who you send your money to. Make sure you know who it is. Make sure it's legitimate. Check out the auction, check out the auctioneer, do your research, make your phone calls, see if they have a good reputation, see what people are saying about them online. If you can't actually contact a person in person, if you can't reach someone that can answer all of your questions, don't deal with them.
Most people can't afford to be out of hundreds of dollars, let alone $40,000. And what we always tell folks is, unfortunately, more than likely, you're not going to get your money back. As you mentioned, Rihanna, it's gone.
It's gone. It's gone, and it's such a sad situation. And it's a big difference for some people. Maybe they can take that chance, but really, I would highly suggest not taking the chance, doing all of your research and making sure it's a very legitimate site before you do things. Check the seller's information, check the terms and conditions of the auction. Do you have to pay any fees up front? There might be bidder fees, or there might be taxes, or even shipping costs, and these scam artists know that. So on a legitimate site, there might be a shipping cost involved. It might be in addition to the actual payment for the product itself. So they will take you up on that as well and scam you out of your money.
So we've mentioned a couple of things, Rihanna, but talk to me more about red flags, things where you feel like, okay, this is feeling really bad right now.
Well, sometimes it's really hard. It's very, very difficult to tell if it's fake or if it's real. When you don't have a real contact, a real address. In one case, there was an instance where this this auctioneer site was local, but it was actually someone's address locally. It wasn't even a place where they were holding an auction. So the scam artist actually used this person's address to pretend like it was an auction site. So you got to be very, very cautious. I'd stop by if it's local. I'd stop by and see if the items are actually there on their, actually there. If it's a house, then maybe it's not going to be there. And other things, just understanding how the auction sites work, what kind of buyer protections there are. Legitimate sites will have buyer protections that the auctioneer actually put in place. They'll have different policies. And if you really read over some of these sites that are fake, you might find grammatical errors on them, and no buyer protection, which is a big red flag.
Talk to me more about this, with that the case that you just mentioned, where the address was being used, because I think some people may be confused about that. Give us a little bit more on that.
We see a lot of things like this. And actually, we've shut down, or been able to work to shut down some sites as well, that are online. Sometimes they're auction sites, sometimes it's online shopping sites that people report to us and they say, hey, I ordered things, or maybe I shopped, an auction, and I never received my items. And here's the address of the place that was promoting the items or the auction. So we actually do a drive-by sometimes at the Better Business Bureau here. We have an investigations person that goes out, especially if we've heard about it over and over and over again, the same address. We'll go drive by the site and see what it actually is.
Hmm.
And in many cases, it might be a shutdown. A shut down building, a place that went out of business. Sometimes it's an actual address of a person's home. So these scam artists just use these things all the time. Another instance, just to discuss it, my family has a place in downtown Louisville, and scammers are using my father's address of business to sell those railroad cars, right? So a lot of people want to purchase these railroad cars for storage. And the scammer is using his location, my father's location, and there are pictures via Google Zoom. They're taking pictures of the railroad cars that my father actually has on the lot, but they're selling them, getting my money wired back to the scam artists, and people are out their money and very upset because they thought they bought railroad cars.
So they
So
thought they were buying from your dad, but in fact, they were using your dad's location, information, images, but they were
yeah,
duping people completely and ruining your dad's business name.
yes, exactly. Running the reputation, making the phone call to my father, complaining that they're out of money. Where's their railroad car? And it wasn't him doing it. And it
Oh,
was a fake website that people would go to, and a fake Facebook page that people would go to find these railroad cars. And then again, the scammers would ask them to send money, and they're out their money, and it's $2,000 or $3,000 at a time. Not a $40,000 boat, mind you, but it's still a lot of money.
That still is a lot of money. We know that folks are working hard for their money, so you don't want to ever become a victim of anything. We have a lot of views, Rihanna, right now, and I want to address something somebody brought up. Julie Beck says, and Rihanna, I don't know if you know this, so if you don't, not a big deal. She says Kentucky is a licensed state for all auctioneers. They can verify if the auctioneer is legit. Do we know anything about that?
I don't know personally about it.
Okay, not a problem. I
Really can share the information.
Absolutely. Julie, I thank you for that input there. We'll look into that as well. But obviously, it is not hard to look up legit auction companies and auctioneers and that sort of thing.
That's correct. Yeah. And then, of course, we always suggest people go to bbb.org because we do have auctioneers on our site, and auction companies. So, and some of them are accredited businesses with us as well. So definitely check bbb.org, but also do your research. And, you can find everything via Google these days. So Google the actual auctioneer, the site, and see what you find out about it there too.
And give them a call, drive by. As you said, if you're going to put $40,000 into something, you probably want to see it and touch it ahead of time, right?
That's the truth. And I mean, I really hate this for this person. $40,000. It's sad, but yes, I would definitely stop by. I would probably test drive the boat. Make sure that it runs correctly before I ever spent my hard-earned money on it. So, of course, auctions are a little different. Sometimes you can't, drive the car, drive the boat, and you're kind of taking a chance. But I at least want to see it and make sure that it is legitimate.
So when folks say, hey, send me Visa prepaid cards or gift cards, those are some red flags, right? Like nobody should be asking you for payment that way.
No, more red flags. We see those kind of scams all the time, not just in something like this, which is another way that people could pay for things. But I mean, even as far as I've seen some businesses be scammed out of a lot of money because they think LG&E is calling, and LG&E will call LG&E and say your electric's going to be turned off. I mean, we're going to see this because it's over 90 degrees here right now. So we are going to see the scam coming out again. But they'll call, say that their electric's turned off, are going to be turned off. They haven't paid their electric bill. They're behind. You need to go to Walgreens or Kroger, buy prepaid debit cards and call me back and give us the numbers and make payment. So we have actually seen some people out thousands of dollars because a worker answered the phone, got upset, got nervous, and decided to go do this for the company. So yeah. So we'll see a lot again. We'll see a lot of that, especially because air conditioners are going out right now. Heating and air people are very busy right now with compressors going out and everything.
And people get desperate. All right, Brianna, and the thing is that if you lose your money, more than likely you're not going to get it back. But you do have to let people know because even though it was probably really hard for this person who lost money, thousands of dollars on a boat that they never got, the good thing is they're telling people. That's the best thing that you can do out of a situation, to warn other folks like, hey, this happened to me and I thought I could never get duped, and I did.
Yes, and that's it. It's all about education and sharing the information. And please come to us, let us know about it. Go to our BBB scam tracker, just search it online. You'll find it very quickly. You can tell people about a scam that's in the area. You can look up scams in the area as well, so you can really deep dive into it and just go into Louisville or Lexington or whatever city you're in to see what's happening in your area. But it's very important to share the information because if we don't know, then we can't share it. So come to us, don't be embarrassed about it. And the education part is it's key for us to be able to get that word out.
And people think, well, scams only happen to a particular age group, a particular, men or women. That is not the case. It happens to everybody.
everyone. And I'll tell you, it used to be, well, seniors are the most scammed. Now that, yeah, seniors are scammed quite a bit because they'll pick up the phone, talk to people quite a bit. They're a little bit more lonely sometimes. But we're seeing in BBB studies, we're seeing a lot of younger consumers getting scammed now because they want to give. So it's a lot of the charity type of scams that they fall for. So anyone can be scammed. I bought a computer at Best Buy. 1 week later, I receive a text message on my phone stating I won a $500 Best Buy gift card. I wanted to click that link. I really did want to click that link, but then I went, wait a minute. I work for BBB. I know better than that. So yes, I found out it was a scam, but I thought about it. I really did.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want free money, free things? It all sounds really good, but really, that doesn't happen.
And
So
it sounds good to be true, right?
it is. I feel like a broken record when we say that, but it's so true. Okay, I want to go over some of the things that Rihanna mentioned for folks to keep in mind. Research auctions and auctioneers before participating. Know the terms and conditions of the auction. Don't give in to a bidder's excitement. You are not on their time. Understand how auction sites work. Find out how payments are made and check the seller's contact information. And be careful with your personal information. Once it's out there, I have a family member whose identity was just stolen, and it's a mess to go through.
Oh, it's sad. That's sad. And I would say one more thing. Check your credit, check your identity, check everything at annualcreditreport.com. That's the one place to go to. You can check your credit report 3 times a year for free, annualcreditreport.com. And that way you can check to see if your identity has been stolen, if there are credit cards that you never opened, different types of loans you've never opened. I went to mine and found just a strange address out of Virginia. So I had a lot of research that way. When you go to that site, they will ask for a few personal things. But it's more like the last 4 of your social. If you have a car payment, what financial service do you use? So it's the kind of information that only you would know. So go to that site. It's very helpful.
All right. Brianna, is there anything that I have not asked you today that you want our viewers to know? We've had a lot of people tuned in, and I know they are because this information is vital. Nobody wants to become a victim.
I think just a shout out BBB. Please contact us when you come across any kind of scams. You can give us a call, and also bad businesses. We're in that service of providing businesses you can trust, but we don't know if there's a bad business out there if people aren't telling us about it. So please give us a call. 800, what's 1-800-388-2222. Again, 800-388-2222. Or you can always file a complaint or customer review, good or bad, because we like good reviews too, at bbb.org.
Good businesses deserve a shout out. And also, I want to say kudos to the people who are brave and they come out and they speak out about what happened to them, because it can feel embarrassing. It can feel like, oh my God, how did this happen to me? But it truly, you are brave to come out and say that this happened, to warn other people. That is doing the right thing and warning others.
Very much so. Very much so.
Brianna, thank you so much for your time today and telling folks about all the hard work that you try to do at the BBB to warn folks to not fall victims to scams, because that's not, let me tell you, that's what we get so many phone calls about in our newsroom, people calling and saying, I just lost this, or this is happening. So we have to warn each other and have each other's back. All right, go to the BBB for more information. And if you fall victim for a scam, please report it. I'm Myra, and sorry for Wave Now. I hope you have a great day.